So the Edmonton Oilers off to the Western Conference Final to take on the Dallas Stars after a convincing Game 7 win against the fellow Canadians in Vancouver, the Vancouver Canucks. Yeah. John Hicks, obviously you were overseeing the big party in the square, just about a half block from our downtown Edmonton studio. How was everybody feeling for this road game? It seemed like I saw the one guy they kept showing on Sportsnet with his tarps off. He had his oil field gear tarps off. He looked ready to party.
Nervousness, but as the game went on, you could tell, and this is what we needed, right? That decisive win in Game 6, and then no team had done 2 in a row, so everyone nervous, but you could tell 45 minutes of domination. And then what do the Canucks always do? It was written like a storybook. They're the comeback kids, right? And we got really nervous at the end. But hey, I know that both fan bases are super savage. The online stuff got really crazy. But I just want to say, the Canucks are a very well-coached team. And with their number one goalie and maybe Brock in the lineup last night, we might have seen something different, a closer game, or maybe even them taking it. So just mad respect. Tocchet just did an amazing job with them. I mean, he even said in the post-game interview, he was like, these players brought respect back to the jersey. And I know a lot of people out there hate the Canucks, but they really did. That team turned around 180. So for us to beat them, that's a big deal, and they're going to be wearing that as they go up against an even harder. Oh my gosh, Dallas is going to be. This is going to be a crazy
Dallas,
series.
Chuck. I didn't know this. I saw this stat post online yesterday. The Dallas Stars became the first NHL club in the expansion era to defeat the most recent 2 Stanley Cup champions in their first 2 playoff rounds. So beating Vegas in round 1, beating Colorado in round 2, they've dethroned the 2 most recent champs Dallas has. So certainly a stacked team ready to go. But I know you were texting me during the game last night. It didn't disappoint, man.
Well, I don't want to lay this on Rick Tocchet because he was a great player and he's a great coach, and he has brought respect to the Canucks organization in Vancouver. But there's always a big fat but in what this biased personality has to say. And here's the big fat but. Who's the coach? Who is coaching the Canucks to be miserly with shots on goal? I mean, the Oilers are ahead 3-0 in the middle of the second period, and the Canucks at that point still hadn't put 15 shots on the net. I mean, I don't have to be the second coming of Foster Hewitt to know that if you don't shoot, you don't score.
Yeah, it was weird too, especially considering that obviously Stuart Skinner had sat out a couple of games, was really struggling. So he comes back in Game 6 in a do or die game, literally, for the Oilers, and the Canucks put 15 or 16 shots on him all game. I know. And then same deal, fewer than 20 shots. I don't know the exact number, fewer than 20 last night. Yeah. So under 20 shots in back-to-back games on a goalie that's been struggling, you got to wonder where was the game plan?
It's good for him that you get benched and then you come back and you have 2 wins, but was it enough? Did he see enough action? I don't think he did. When you're standing at I've never played goal. I've never played hockey much. I took power skating and played a little rec, whatever, but when you're standing at one end of the ice for the majority of the time, and then all of a sudden it's bam, 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 shot. Yeah. I'm not sure if you're getting the workout you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't have a degree in stats from Athabasca University.
Nice one.
So I'm hoping somebody out there listening or watching does, so they can tell us whether any team in the history of the National Hockey League has won a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs with 20 or fewer shots on net.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember a Game 7 like this. Remember when, was it the Avs or Detroit got blown out 7-0? But this was one of those games where it didn't feel like a Game 7 at all. It was total domination. But respect the Canucks. They were a hard team. They were a really hard team to get around for. 1-goal games
7
the whole
games,
way.
Man. No team won 2 in a row until 6 and 7. Yeah.
Last night, props to the Oilers, man. You got McDavid, Draisaitl blocking shots. I don't know what Darnell said to the bench there. They were at one point, he was giving them a sermon, but he just had an incredible few games there too. People always knocking on Darnell. He was great in the last few games. So But this Dallas team is deep. This is gonna be a war coming up.
Yeah,
this is gonna be crazy.
Dallas definitely looks like it could win the cup for sure. Jake Ottinger,
he's scary good.
You've got obviously one of the best D-men in the game, and Heiskanen, and when you start rolling through the lines, and then you see that they've got like
Ben's an animal.
All these guys like Sagan's on the third line. You got Pavelski. There's a whole bunch of Dallas Stars, Chuck, like sort of like the guys that if they win this year, you think they may be tempted to hang him up. I think of like Joe Pavelski, like go out on top kind of idea. But there's a few of those guys that haven't won, and it would be kind of Ryan Suter, I think, on the blue line, right? So, yeah, it'll be
I still
good.
give the Oilers the edge because I still believe that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, more than ever that I've seen them in the past, and naturally I've been following them for the last few years, they are absolutely possessed. These guys want to hug the Stanley Cup badly.
Yeah. Another stat, all 4 teams now in the final have not won a cup in over 20 years. So Florida hasn't won at all. I think Dallas was like 94, 96. Islanders like 97. So these are 4 teams who've
Rangers 94 with Messier.
Yeah. And so 4 teams that have been in over 20-year droughts, they're all hungry. This is going to be an amazing final for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Well, what is it about these people across our country and the United States who say, if my team isn't in it, I'm not interested? How can you be a hockey fan and not interested in what we're about to see with these 4 hungry
Calgary.
clubs?
But I watched the game in Calgary, and there's a lot of people in Calgary watching the game. I mean, obviously, I got into an interesting conversation with some people. They were like, there's the idea of like, this is the Alberta team. And then I know that not everybody feels the same way, right? I was telling them, they go, well, what do you think people in Edmonton would do? Like if the Flames were going on a long run and Edmonton was out, and I'm going, well, they kind of have the ABC thing in Edmonton, anybody but Calgary, but not everywhere. Like I remember, in 2004, the Flames went to the final, and there were some Flames car flags in Edmonton. And then in 2006, when the Oilers went to the final, separated by a lockout, like Alberta teams went to back-to-back finals. There were some Oilers car flags in Calgary, but I don't know. I get it. I get it. Like if my team's out, I'm not 100% in anymore.
Some big national brand was asking me last night if the Oilers are now Canada's team. I said, yeah, Canada minus Calgary.
Okay, yeah, that might be true. It just might be tough for the Flames. It was a tough year in Calgary, and it might be tough for them to watch Connor and Leon do their thing. But I don't know. There are, like Johnny said, there are those storylines. Like the Dallas storyline is interesting, and they're just such a deep team. It's they sort of feel like I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I'll pick Edmonton to win the series, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas did.
There's some Oilers Dallas hatred, is there not?
You think
right?
in the 90s, like the Oilers Dallas rivalry in the playoffs was massive, and so I think it's pretty cool.